Between the time when the oceans drank Atlantis and the rise of the sons of Arius, there was an age undreamed of. And unto this, Conan, destined to bear the jeweled crown of Aquilonia upon a troubled brow. It is I, his chronicler, who alone can tell thee of his saga. Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Welcome in. I am the CryptoBullGod and a proud member of the HbarBarians. In today's video, it's all about HBAR, price targets, and it's going to be a fun one. You can find me, that was a strong pause there. You can find me on Twitter at CryptoBullGod. You can find me on Tradingview at CryptoBullGod. You can email me at CryptoBullGod. And you can find me on YouTube at CryptoBullGod. If you appreciate today's video, there is nothing you can do more that I would appreciate than engagement. Share the video to spread sound technical analysis. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. I don't want to sound like everybody else. And drop a comment. I love engaging with people. Just a quick disclosure before we get started that I am very simply looking to put, this is not financial advice, okay? Just simply put, looking to educate, help, and spread sound technical analysis to the community to help others in making informed decisions. When making your own personal financial decisions regarding what to invest in, when to buy, when to sell, ultimately that ownership, it falls on you. My hope, however, is that you can utilize what I share as another data point in helping you to think through what may be best for your own personal approach. So just a quick, another disclosure. There's many ways to approach this, right? So this video is going to be all about TA, technical analysis, no fundamentals. Now, I will say on the fundamental side, I have a very firm understanding of the fundamentals of HBAR, hence why I hold a significant portion in HBAR, and I'm an HbarBarian. However, stumbled over that, HbarBarian. However, this is not about the fundamentals today. There's other videos out there for that. I'm strictly keeping it to the technicals, and I think that how much you respect the technicals or what your view is of the technicals, I think it would benefit you to respect the technicals. There's a reason they exist, and I think the more that you understand validity within the data and the charts, it can help you to make better informed decisions of when to buy and when to sell. That's what I'm here for. I do want to clarify before we start going into some of the numbers that this is our moment. We are on the precipice, first off, speaking specifically to HBAR, of breaking $1. It's going to happen very soon. We're going to go through one very large run here. There'll be some moves in between, but then I expect a very euphoric blow off top in the entire cryptocurrency market. The tops will be dictated by Bitcoin. How high HBAR goes will a lot be dictated by Bitcoin because it is the mothership. We're going to utilize some of that data in making informed and logical price targets on HBAR. But this stuff's going to happen very soon. It's going to happen, I indicated in my 5th episode of my podcast that the total market's going to top somewhere between, in my opinion, July to October. And things will go very parabolic at some point very soon. And so it's very important to understand what your scale out strategy is so that you can actually profit from your investment. And then during our next bear cycle, there will be another bear cycle, when things are real bloody, you can buy in at very large discounts. So with that, let's get started here. Oh, by the way, also stick around for a very special prayer at the end of this video that all the HbarBarians should be here as one for. So with that, we're going to go into a few additional validation points and thought processes behind logical price targets for HBAR. If you did not catch my last video, the Holy Crypto Trinity, I would encourage you to check that out. I will leave a link in the description. That goes into a great extent of detail on how some of the market capitalizations and price multiples that we're going to look at were calculated. I'm not going to go over that again. So if you want to check that out, go over it in the last video, please, by all means. Now, one of the first things that I wanted to hit on here, when kind of validating what I felt was reasonable for a price target, a USD price target for HBAR, was I wanted to actually look at a cryptocurrency that it's been hovering around, and that is Dash. Now, one of the things that I have pointed out with HBAR is because it was not here during the prior cycle, the prior crypto cycle, we don't have any historical data to go on to draw out things called fib extensions. So in deriving some price targets, we have to be a little bit more creative and I can't think of the word, much more creative in coming up with some price targets. Dash, however, does have a lot of prior history. You can see here, this is a chart on the monthly. And one of the things I have done with Dash is I've drawn out some fib extensions that I anticipate Dash to hit. The fib extensions that I anticipate Dash to hit are circled here. It is anywhere between the 1.618 fib extension and the 2.618 fib extension from our prior cycle top. That puts Dash between a valuation of roughly $2,600, as you can see on your screen here, and $4,200, somewhere around there, right? Why am I using Dash? Why am I using Dash as a validation point? Well, if you've been paying attention, okay, it was actually in the intro, HBAR, as it's been gaining market dominance, has been hovering right around where Dash is. And actually, after Dash experienced its growth, when it went sort of parabolic, it was ahead of Dash, Dash was ahead of HBAR. But when HBAR saw one of its first big movements and it jumped all the way up to market cap ranking 35, it leaped ahead of Dash. In my opinion, I ultimately think HBAR has a very strong likelihood of achieving a higher market cap and a higher end euphoric market capitalization point than Dash. But they've been within close proximity. So what we can do as another point of validation to justify the USD price target in HBAR, and thus the market capitalization as well, is we can use Dash as a data point to determine whether or not it's reasonable on what we're projecting for HBAR. So let's take a look at Dash real quick here. Dash, which by the way, I do like me some Dash. I trade it quite a bit. I hold a fair share of Dash. So Dash, based on those $2,600 to $4,200 price targets, the less aggressive the 26 area is going to put it right in between a 50 to 55, which is very reasonable. Again, looking at these market caps, which I'd focus on the altcoins here. Based on the market cap ranges that I have here, based on the multiple being applied in the fib extensions of Dash, very reasonable. Okay, $2,600 lands at somewhere into 50 to 55. Right now, I think it's at 43. So if it maintained a spot ultimately, right around that 40 to 45, which is kind of where it's at now, I think it could get somewhere in the 30s, but 40 to 45 is very reasonable. That's more on the higher side, towards 4,200. It puts it right in this region in here, in this 43 to 35 billion dollars. So let's verify that against HBAR. Let's go back to a chart or a view here that we looked at before. I had indicated in the prior Holy Crypto Trinity video that I was mainly looking for a price multiple between $4, call it $4.50 to $10. Okay, that gives it a valuation anywhere between 35 to $74 billion. Where does that place us? Well, guess what, guys and girls? Maybe. Wait, now I lost my track. The 35 to $74 billion valuation, that puts us right in between this zone here. Right in between here. So what we're saying is, if we hit those target ranges that I'm personally more anticipating, a conservative price multiple would be a 143 getting it to $4.50, $35 billion market cap. 35 puts us right in line with Dash here. Validation point, 35 billion at 45 market cap ranking. If we're more aggressive and we aim for that $10 price mark, gets us closer to around 74 billion. Well, guess what? Now we've leaped ahead. Actually, it gets us somewhere in between here, 30 to 25. We've leaped ahead of Dash, which, based on the current cycle and the way prices have been reacting between these two, wouldn't surprise me. And it's not too much aggressively beyond where Dash would be if it falls within this range. 74 would be, if Dash fell within around $43 billion, that's not aggressively much higher than where I could see HBAR going. So really kind of looking at the price targets at the moment, this whole range here looks very valid just based on that. Let's jump to the next piece of information I had here now that we're getting off the Dash validation. Let's actually jump to ETH BTC. Let's take a look at what the ETH BTC ratio did in the prior bull cycle. Again, Ethereum's been around for a while. So we have prior cycle data to go off of in looking at both the Ethereum USD chart, which is the price chart, and then its valuation relative to Bitcoin, okay? So what Ethereum did, Ethereum was one of the strongest runners last crypto cycle, all right, if not the strongest. What it did was, if we look at these fib extensions, again, I'm going to be looking at fib extensions, look what it did. It went all the way up and exceeded the 4.618 fib extension, okay? Again, looking at this fib retracement from top to bottom, we hit the 1.618, consolidated, ran up, blasted through 2, 3, and actually accelerated past 4, in between 4 and 5, okay? Let's jump over to HBAR BTC. Now, this is the HBAR price relative to Bitcoin. That's all that's going on here. And what I've done is that when we scroll up to the top here, what we're going to see, take this off. What we're going to see is I have the fib extensions drawn out here, and I also have hypothetical values for HBAR based on these fib extensions to help you further appreciate the validity of these fib extensions. So let's say, for example, that HBAR hit the 1.618 fib extension when Bitcoin was around $100,000. What we're saying is it puts HBAR around $1.37, really $1.38, okay? If Bitcoin was at $200,000 when this fib extension was reached, HBAR would be around 274, 276, okay? Rounding. It gets lost in the rounding. Close enough. What you can also do, if you want to copy down these values and see how they work, you can interpolate between the values. So let's say that by the time HBAR hit a 1.618 fib extension, let's say that Bitcoin was only $75,000. Well, you would take the ratio of 75 over 100,000, okay, that's 75%. You would multiply it times the $1.37 to get what HBAR would be. And let me see, quick math in my head, I'm going to say that's about 26, 34. So that would put us just over $1. Nothing like doing quick math on the spot. So if Bitcoin was around $75,000 and we hit this 1.618 fib extension, HBAR would be around $1. All right. The more we continue to work up, the fib extensions, what they imply is they're getting higher in value. HBAR is increasing its dominance within the market, and it's also holding a higher Satoshi value relative to Bitcoin, okay? And you can see the prices are going up here. If we manage to come all the way up to a 4.618 fib extension, okay, one Bitcoin was around $200,000. What this is saying is HBAR would be around 8 to 850, okay? This is very realistic. If you come back here, again, if we top and we hit a 4.618 fib extension when Bitcoin's around $200,000 during mass euphoria, let's come over here and see if it's realistic. Well, again, a 300x puts us around $9, close to $10, okay? $9.50 to $10. $74 billion market cap. I've projected out it would land somewhere in between 25 to 30, okay? What was it again? 74 billion, but it's about $9.60, right? Well, this is telling us at a potential peak we'd reach $8.40, okay? So very close. So this further lends credence and credibility to some of these price projections that I've laid out here. Now, the other thing I wanted to speak to, which I thought was quite interesting, was if we only ever managed to get up to a 2.618 fib extension when Bitcoin was near topping, when it was consolidating as alts ran up and Bitcoin's around 200,000, look what where HBAR will be, 448. Come over here to my conservative price target, 458 at 143 price multiple, okay? Very, very close. So where does the crypto bull god ultimately see HBAR going within these fib extensions? I absolutely seeing it hit a absolutely see it hitting a 2.618 fib extension. And depending on Bitcoin's valuation, you can kind of derive based on these USD price values for Bitcoin what HBAR would be. I absolutely see it hitting a 2.618. Anything higher than a 2.618 is certainly very possible, and I think there's certain further validity to me kind of spelling out what the USD values would be with these fib extensions, so that it can help to encapsulate the idea that, hey, these further drive home the point that, hey, these other valuations that I've shared with you guys and girls, should I just say you folks, or does that make me sound too old? You folks? Hey. These figures that I've communicated with you folks, they're further valid based on the other data points that I'm sharing with you here. Now, the last thing I wanted to speak to prior to looking quickly at the USD chart is HBAR has somewhat exceeded my expectations in terms of jumping from, I believe, 77. I think it was, 77 here. We started the year at 77 and we ran all the way up to 35. So, if I believe these market cap ranges for altcoins to be very realistic, which I do, and I could see HBAR going as high realistically. Again, anything's possible. Sure, I could get into the top 10. Anything is possible, but I don't know, given the narratives in this crypto cycle, if that's realistic for this crypto cycle. Maybe the next bull cycle we could absolutely get into the top 10, but maybe this cycle, based on some of the narratives surrounding DeFi, okay, specifically decentralized finance, maybe we're not going to break into the top 10. Maybe it's more realistic based on some of the growth that we've seen that we could get all the way up to the 20 spot. And at a 20 spot, right in between 20 to 25, you're talking somewhere between an $80 to $125 billion market cap. And if we come back here, well, an $80 to $125 billion market cap, actually it's a little less than this $12. We'll say somewhere around, this is 74 billion at 9.6. So at 124 is real close to 125, right? So it's not unrealistic to think that HBAR might not have a quick wick, a very volatile wick when things get very euphoric and we jump all the way up to the 20 spot and we hit something close to $16. So somewhere between 10 to 16. So I think the most aggressive price target that we could realistically come up with for this cycle would be something close to around $16. That's what I would share with you. But again, sharing all this data, it's up to you to come up with a realistic strategy to sell this so you can profit from this. Because the idea is we're going through cycles right now. You don't want to miss the opportunity to realize these gains, to make life-changing financial success for yourself. And you can always take a lot of those funds and then invest them again when we come down significantly in valuation next year. So please, please have a plan in place. One quick look at the USD chart, make a quick comment on it right now. Really what we're doing right now is we need to break out of this zone, okay? This zone, this red zone of resistance is between, we'll call it 41 cents. 41 cents and 45 and a half, 46 cents, okay? Once we start breaking that with volume, which I would anticipate within the next few days here, we're going to burst through to 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 $. I think we're definitely going to be hitting $1 a lot sooner than people think. Take a look at that fractal that I shared because we could be hitting around $1.22, or it shouldn't be that specific. We'll be hitting around $1.20. I think that's very possible within the next several weeks here, so keep an eye on it. Great time to scale in. If you're not an HbarBarian, please, we welcome you. So with that being said, we're going to close this out in CryptoBullGod style. Can you hear that? Hear that music? Chrome, I have never prayed to you before. I have no time for it. No one, not even you, will remember if we were good investors or bad investors. Why we bought and why we bear the cross of this bloody crypto bear market. All that matters is that the HbarBarians stood against many. That's what's important. This crypto bull market pleases you, Chrome. So grant me one request. Grant me these price targets and our rightful place among the top 20 crypto market cap. And if you do not listen, then to hell with you.